The African continent is a large and dynamic part of the world where most of the recent growth comes from non-oil and non-commodity dependent economies, and the U.S. must not ignore it, said Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross in his address to the U.S.-Africa Business Summit.
This year, 6 African nations will be among the top 10 fastest growing countries in the world.
Cote d'Ivoire grew at 8.2%. Ethiopia grew at 8%. Tanzania grew at roughly 7.2%. Rwanda and Kenya grew at 6%. Senegal grew at 6.7%.
But as a former global investor, Ross says it's important to make sure that U.S. companies are in the best position possible to do business in Africa.
Access to markets, recognition of truly international standards, due process in procurement, protection of intellectual property. These are factors that help foster mutually beneficial relationships.
Lindwe Zulu, South Africa's Minister of Small Business Development, told VOA her country's institutions are very strong.
It's about Africa attracting U.S. investors. And in the main, it's about Africa creating a conducive environment for investors, because there's no investor who wants to go into any country and not see the returns of their investment.
Vista Life Sciences, a U.S. healthcare technology company, recently set up shop in Botswana, where the company is developing new pathways for HIV testing and cervical cancer management.
We worked with the local government. They were fantastic. We engaged local attorneys to help guide our path and all of the local regulatory issues.
For the president of Mozambique, relationships should be based on a partnership.
If you give me the fish, I'm going to eat today and the next day. But if you give the fishing gear, I will learn how to fish and eventually fish for myself and even for you one day.
It's that kind of self-sufficiency that African nations are seeking.
We don't want to encourage asking for aid and then going for loans and all that. We want to process our own produce, add value to it, be able to earn, to undertake our own infrastructure.
Mariama Diallo, VOA News, Washington.
We are a leading cocoa economy.